In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God. Amen. Dear brothers and sisters, it is first to note that those Christians, Arabs, they changed this Father, Son, Holy Ghost, and they added something to tell the Muslims, look, we are monotheistic. We are believing God, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, but one God. Only in Arabic, this addition. Look how we are smart to be really in the context of our people there, and to be always in a good relation with everybody, to present our faith as a faith which is also for others and not only for us. I would like first to thank very, very much this wonderful aid to the church in need. You are wonderful people. You did a lot, and all of you benefactors and brothers. Me and Sister Hanan were really surprised. We thought we will have with some pious women telling them something about us, but we were able to meet with many, many persons and influential persons here in London and in the country, and that so our voice and our concern may be heard by many, many people. Thank you very much. You did wonderful work. And I like to tell you that Church in Need is not only now working, you know that, they are working, and they were working for many, many years in many, many places. I think the most best-known address for Christians, for bishops and patriarchs and sisters is Church in Need, ACN.
That's very worrying.
Yeah. I hope you have more money that you can cope with all wishes and demands and projects, because we have a big vision, and therefore we ask you for more and more. Well, I would like to tell you, well, I have many things, but you said you have seen these wonderful photos, and you have seen Bishop weeping. We all weep with our people, visiting them, comforting them, loving them, and trying to give them hope. It's not easy. Yesterday, I got a phone from my secretary, priest from Malula, who is with me years already, and his brother is kidnapped. And yesterday, a bomb fell on Baptuma, the gate of St. Thomas, where it was a station for Jaramana taxis, and fall on the people there. Many were killed and wounded, and one of them, a child with 5 years, who is the son of the mayor of Malula. They fled from Malula, and they were also in Damascus, killed, 5 years old, and many members of the family also killed and wounded. And this, my phone, is my daily mean to be in contact with my people, never close, to hear the voice of our people and to be near to them in this very, very harsh time, never seen in Syria. We don't deserve it. We don't deserve this tragedy, dear brothers and sisters, because, well, we are really, not to be compliments, to praise, but it's the reality. In all Arab countries, you can consider Syria as a place of secular, faithful community, not regime, something different. Not regime is secular. We have this spirit, and I remember how many ambassadors who left Syria and Damascus, they told me, look, we would like to stay there, but we can't because of our government. But we have a different experience of Syria. And I heard also a compliment of Nuntius Mario Zenari in Damascus, who told us in a meeting of the bishops, Catholic bishops in Damascus, in Syria. I am the president of this assembly of hierarchy, of Catholic hierarchy in Syria. He told us, I can tell you, I can give the best note, 10 to 10, for Syria, for freedom of worship. Never elsewhere, unless only Lebanon, you can see such a real freedom of worship for all, not only Christians, but for all people in this country. So I am today making an appeal through you to many, many people in the world, as I did in many documents to the head of Arab states. I am always addressing Arab states to tell them they are responsible also. They are not united. They are divided. And they are part of the tragedy. And now I call on them that they may part of the solution. Not only wait for solution from you elsewhere, from America or even Russia or England or France or Germany. We have, as we are part of the problem and the tragedy, we have to be part of the solution. So Syria, as you have seen, is experiencing a lengthy, painful, bloody way of the cross, stretching over all the country's roads. All Muslims and Christians alike, both government and opposition, and armed groups from every quarter have all been carrying the same cross for over 2 years. Suffering has gone beyond all bounds. The crisis has mown down thousands upon thousands, more than 100,000. That is statistic. Reality is more and more. We don't know how many people was put on the earth. We don't know about them. From both parts, government and other groups. Soldiers, opponents, civilians, men, women, children, Muslims, sheikhs, Christians, priests. You know, we have three priests who were killed, and you know about the 2 bishops kidnapped till now, since the 22nd of April, and the 2 priests since the 10th of February. And we have a lot of our priests, our people, our relatives, and our friends who are kidnapped. From Malula, after the tragedy of Malula, 6 are till now, since the 4th of September, they are kidnapped. We don't know where they are. So whole Syria became a battlefield. It has also become a place of bargaining and purchase of goods for cash only, and in the interest of certain parties. Every aspect of democracy, human rights, everywhere speaking about human rights, but not in Syria. Human rights, freedom, secularism, well, citizenship is far lost from view of all, or no one cares about that. Believe me, today is no more to speak about those values, only weapons and interest and manipulation and hypocrisy and lies and money. Nothing else. Everywhere is manipulation, lies, and hypocrisy, as Robert Fisk said. The most war filled with lies and hypocrisy is today. Why? Because of the modern logistic of mediatic and so on. They can manipulate everything. I have a bird, I can tomorrow have no bird. I has elected new bishop, new patriarch, I had only one part. Second day I had full bird. I don't know how. This is not only for this thing, for many things, and this is especially for situation in Syria. You don't know, even from all sides, where is the reality. And it means how many victims are of this situation. There is no place left in Syria safe. You may think that it is safe here or unsafe there, but at any moment you may be killed by a bomb, missile, or bullet, not to mention being kidnapped or taken hostage for ransom or murdered. Chaos threatens everyone, everywhere, and every moment. One of my relatives, 1.5 years ago, he went to the marriage of his son, killed on the way. Nothing to do with any of the reasons to be killed, and so on and so on. And I like to tell you, all my relatives are now displaced from my father's country, Daraya. Daraya is near to Damascus, 9 kilometers on the way to the airport, and therefore very near to the airport, very strategic. Everybody went. Now there is an effort to transfer those who are still inside, some 5 Christians and about 5,000 Muslims. There is efforts to evacuate them from the very dangerous place, and so on and so on. You know Malula? Everybody went, Christians, but also Muslims, fearing from one side the groups, weapons, the wearers, from other side, maybe also fearing the government, if they are with or against the government. So all of them went and fled to Damascus and elsewhere. So dangers loom over all citizens, especially civilians, due to the destabilization and chaos of residential districts in many areas, Homs, Aleppo, Damascus, suburb, and so on, caused by the exploitations, particularly of Christians, because they are the weak element in this crisis. Maybe sometimes targeted as Christians, but also targeted as able to have more money from them and more profit from them. For example, in Yabrud, this is controlled by opponents and by also some jihadists, not only opponents. Opponents is okay sometimes, but jihadists something else, and Salafists and extremists and so on. Well, they have to pay their share as Christians monthly since the beginning of 2012, $35,000 a month. The share of the Muslim is also maybe more. And now, in spite of paying this monthly amount, on the 27th of September and now 16th of October, the old church of Yabrud, of Constantine Helena, was shelled by bombs. It is a church before the Christianity. It was a temple of Jupiter, and converted in a church, very old, beautiful church, shelled also. Why? I don't know. It was put in the dome, bombs, and they discovered they dismantled them near to the confessional, and also others were put in the new built church. And we have also to speak about other element of pain. Let us not mention the students. They can't continue their studies, universities or schools. 3,000 schools were destroyed, out of use. And many, many children were not able to continue with their study. I built a new brand school, maybe the most beautiful school in Syria and Damascus. I was not able to inaugurate it, and it was now shelled, and we were obliged to evacuate the children because it is dangerous near to the airport. Now we have the children, 2,000 in very simple places, in Canada, in prefabricated houses, and other places. Let us not mention the state of mind that overwhelms our parishes, doubt. Sometimes some people curse God. Why all these things? Where are you? Where are you, Jesus? Where are you, God, to help us? Not only Christian, but everybody. Why this tragedy? Fear, apprehension. What tomorrow? Suspense, depression, despondency. 3 million children are traumatized in Syria. 3 million children are traumatized because saying, I have seen here some drawing. I can tell you the drawing of my late how would you say, nephew, cousin. She is 5 years old, and she painted a big man carrying bombs, full bombs in hand. And above him, little thing. What is that? I asked her, Catherine. She said, this is Jesus. Why so tiny? She answered, in order that he may enter in the heart of these warriors and convert them. So we are experiencing all these things. And I would like to tell you how we are near. I was very impressed to see Monsignor Kassab. He is my student. He was my student in the University of Catholic, and I love him much. He was weeping, and we all weep. Daily we are contacted by our people, night and day. We are for them father, mother, sister, lawyer, everything. The church is for them everything. And though we have to be present, I am daily there and there. I am pending between Damascus and Beirut, and so I can see, tell you also how things are very, 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 in a very contrasting way. I go to Damascus, and I saw how many people are crossing the border to come to Lebanon. And when, after 3 days, back to Beirut, I saw how many people are back to Damascus. You see how the people are, they know what, they don't know what is tomorrow. But we are happy that going to Lebanon is not dangerous for us, because we know that we will go back soon as possible. Also to Jordan maybe, and to Iraq some went. But the danger is if they left the Middle East countries and go elsewhere in the whole world. You know, we have about 450,000 Christians who left, who are displaced inside or outside Syria. It means a third of the Christian population in Syria. You have about 1 million, 3/4 million of Christians, mainly Greek Orthodox, Greek Catholic, Syrian Orthodox, and so on. 450,000 left or displaced. It means a third are in this very difficult situation, not to speak about others who are in a way so and so. Every place is also insecure. And we have about thousands killed already. Soldiers, civilians, priests, children, and so on. And about 36 churches destroyed or damaged in my country. And how many churches are not damaged, but no more prayers, because no more priests and no more lay people. They are deserted. Such tragedies we have in our situation. The other aspect, very, very important, is really the church. What is the position of the church? Church is declared herself, I am minister of reconciliation. Some people in Europe or in the Arab country maybe, they like to put the Christians in this or this field, against Bashar or with Bashar. I always answer, is that the question for me to be for this? I am more than all that. I am Syrian, and I am the element to bring together people and to be an example of a real citizen being faithful to this country and maybe helping this sectarian war, which is not sectarian Christian Muslim this time. No, I can tell you really, this is not a Christian Muslim war. And if we are targeted in a way and we have victims, but it's not really, we had problems, Christian Muslim, but today Egypt and so on. But in that case, this is something else. It's more Muslim, Shiite, Alawite, and Sunnite, and so on. In contrary, we have another phenomenon. I can tell you a beautiful story of a general called Samir, relative to me. His car was damaged, so he went to a garage of his friend. But his friend was Muslim, Sunnite, and living in a country under the control of the warriors. What to do? Well, he said, I have the best place there, I go there. Well, he went there, and the garagist welcomed him. Oh, hello, General Samir, how do you do? Fine. And he started repairing his car. The neighbor was a Sunnite, very, very, very harsh and fanatic and jihadist. Who is this man? He asked the garagist. He said, this is my friend. And who is this friend? He said, General of the army. Oh, General of the army of Assad. He want to come to kill him on the moment. The garagist stopped him and told him, look, my dear friend, this general is Christian. Christian? No. Christian. No, they are good people. Those people have a patriarch, me, who asked them not to be armed, not to wear weapons. Well, if they have their own defense, something, but not to ask. And I wrote a letter in August 2012 saying, nobody asked us to be armed, to have weapons from the government. And we didn't ask the government to give us weapons. And that was the reason how this general was saved from death. And he said, Christians are good people. Till now, we have a mission of reconciliation. We are ministers of reconciliation. We are happy to be able to bring our sister, brothers, Muslims together and to help them to have other vision of war, and that we all together can go the new path of real reconciliation. And I said a word, 3 words. We must be together, Christian Muslims, in order to build together a new Syria, a new future in the Arabic world. We can remain together, Christian Muslims, and build together a new Syria, a new world in the Arabic world. Third, we like to stay together and to build together better future for the world. That is the mission. I am asked, and I think very, very, very much, the aid to the church indeed of their concern about Christians. But when I am asked about the concern for Christians, why to be concerned by Christians? Why? Because they are a special kind of animals or what is that? Why to be concerned about Christians? Not because for themselves, but for that what they represent, for their role and their mission in the history and today and tomorrow. This is for me not the time we ask. We thank you very much for help. But when you help us, please, when you think about the Christian presence in the Middle East, think at the same time on their role. If not, I said to you in the church, we have always to rely together identity, being Christian, and mission, open to others. For me, it's important to keep Christianity in the Middle East because we are, as I told you in the Mass, the cradle of Christianity is Syria. Jesus was born in Palestine, the Holy Land, in Bethlehem, but the Christianity was born in Syria. I can tell you exactly the date of the entrance of Christ in Damascus, 3 weeks after Pentecost, 33. Can you write that and see? Abuna Shafiq is a secular. He can see if what I am saying is exact or no. 3 weeks after Pentecost. Why? Because the many Jews, Damascus, wonderful presence of Jews in Damascus. They went to attend the Feast of Pentecost of the Jews. And they hear the sermon of Peter, 2 sermons, and they were converted. And they came back after 3 weeks, to Damascus, and it was the first presence, and Ananias was of them, one of them. And therefore, St. Paul were sent there to Damascus to convert, to fight these new Christians. And I can tell you, there are 4 apostles who composed the gospel: Matthew, Luke, Mark, and John. But we have another one. The fifth gospel is that of St. Paul. He always speaks my gospel. By his gospel, he said nothing about Jesus, about miracles, about teaching, nothing at all. Where he had this gospel? Through inspiration. Where was the inspiration? In Arabia, in the Epistle to the Galatians, 50 kilometers south from Damascus, in the place where I am building a hospital. There was the place where St. Paul was inspired to write all his epistles, and he called them my gospel. This is the place where, and therefore I am saying, we are keen to preserve this presence, to continue this wonderful presence and this wonderful mission. A saying what in the beginning of this tragedy, where somebody said, preserve your Christian and your Christianity in order to preserve your Arabicity. It means if no more Christians are in the Middle East, why the Muslims have to call them Arabs? It is enough to say we are Muslim. Arab is not interesting. Islam is all, is everything. Why to call more Arabs? So we give this multicolor, this plurality in the Middle East, and that is why we have to preserve, not for us, for Muslim. I am the most who can really be in contact with Islam, and if we can really now overcome this crisis in Syria, and we can give a good solution for this crisis through the conversion of all efforts of America, of Russia, and so on and so on and so on. Europe, especially Europe, believe me, if we can give a good solution and go to Geneva 23rd and 24th of November, we hope, be sure it will be the key for solution for the peace in the Middle East. And first of all, next after the peace in Syria, it will be the solution of the conflict Israel-Palestine. This conflict lasting for 65 years. Therefore, we have to work, and that's why I am calling for real campaign of prayers, of efforts to make this Geneva II conference successful, not for our sake only, but really, surely for the sake of millions of people in Syria, but also for the sake of Iraq. Yesterday, the father here from Iraq, he told me 17 bombs were put in 17 cars and exploded yesterday. So we have the danger everywhere in the Middle East. We have to finish with this trend. You know, I heard from Kofi Annan and Ahdar al-Ibrahimi in Geneva. I was on the 18th of September. We have 2,000 groups of jihadists, of Salafists, of extremists in Syria. 2,000. It is not me. It is from Kofi Annan and Ahdar al-Ibrahimi and the media in Europe. 2,000. What to do? What for? Therefore, really, we have to work for this peace in Syria. And I would like to thank the Holy Father, our Holy Father Francis, who was always, since he became Pope, he always quoted Syria with the word beloved Syria, and again spoke about Syria, about peace of Syria, and did this wonderful initiative to call for prayers and fasting on the 7th of September. And he was heard by whole world, Muslim, Christians, Jews, everybody. And through this initiative, he changed first the reality in Syria and avoided the attack against Syria. And not only that, he changed also Syria to be ready to go to finish with the chemical weapons. Not only avoid the attack, but also go new way. Something very interesting, new way. And more, new way not only in Syria, but outside Syria. I saw everybody of you, and in the media, we saw how it was a change in the mind of Obama, in the mind even of Putin, in the mind of England, somehow in France, in Germany. I consider this appeal of the Holy Father as a real miracle. Yes, I believe in miracle. And he gave a new vision, something else, new way. This is the future of the world. Not only to look for more weapons. And the Holy Father said, who is guilty, not those who have gun and weapons. Guilty are those who are the traffic people of weapons, and more, those who are making the weapons. And that is what we have to change. Good to have to aid for the church, but now we have to change mind. That is what I am looking for Syria. And I am sure if really the world can succeed, it will be something new in the whole history of the world. No one can win in the war with weapons today. Nobody. It was possible. First, Second War, it was possible. Today, it is impossible to win with war, with weapons. Impossible. Because we have so logistic and so many, we can't win. Bashar Assad was asked by Todenhofer, a German journalist, who asked him, President, do you like it means to go to the bitter end? Yes, to the bitter end. My prayer, my wish, is not to go to the bitter end, but to go to the better end. Thank you.